Hey everybody, I'm sorry it's been so long since I've checked in with you, but I'm gonna try and slowly put my feet in the water again and share some of the fun projects that I'm doing right now. One project that I was holding off was to remove this huge palm tree that was in the front of my cottage by the beach, and it was already here when I moved in, and it had been here for many, many, many decades. But a lot of the palms, this certain kind of palm tree in my neighborhood, were all one by one getting this terrible disease. And the tops of my tree was just falling off. I knew that it had to come down. It was already starting to smell. It's like a spoiled, eggy smell. So we're gonna get rid of that tree today. It's gonna feel good, but also kind of sad because it was a big part of this landscape. And once this tree is successfully removed, and we're gonna grind down the roots, it's gonna open up, as you can see, a big opening into my yard. I hired some guys, they took down the palm tree. They had to come back because even though they ground the roots, they didn't grind the roots enough. Palm trees just have this network of hairy netting for roots. It is nasty. My gardener said he doesn't know if I can actually plant anything in the ground in that area. Maybe it's just containers. And I'm thinking that that's going to be an area where I'll put some kind of pergola or some hardscaping over there. So that happened, and half of the fence was never put in because the palm tree and some other plants were creating a border. Well, that no longer exists, so I had to redo the whole fence. And it took me a while to find a company that could do it. And now it's up to me because I want to keep on budget. I really don't want to pay anybody to paint my fence. It's just too expensive. And it's easy, it's just tedious. You know, it's just going to take a long time because it's 2 coats on the front and 2 coats on the back, as well as priming the fence all together. So the fence has been primed. What kind of white I'm looking for the fence. I want white, but I don't want a brilliant, cool white. I feel like it's when the sun's blasting, it just is too bright for the eyes. And I did a lot of research. I just drove up and down this neighborhood to see any white picket fence. I kind of took pictures. Most of them chose almost like the same kind of white. It's almost like contractor builder white. Too cool for me. Too white, brilliant white for the look. And I think that's because my mom never loved brilliant white on houses. So maybe that's my mom's influence that I didn't know about. We got rain this morning, so I'm paint sampling indoors. I'm using some scrap wood pickets, and I'll sample 4 different kinds of white paint that I'm considering for the fence. They're ranging from a little warm to cooler white, and I wanted to see what you guys think. Okay, let's sample. The first white color I'm going to sample is something that I've already used in a lot of my interior spaces, and it's Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, and it's on the warm scale of white. It's considered a slightly creamier white, but let me put it on this. And it has just a little bit of yellow in it to warm it up. So pretty. But again, this is indoors, so we'll be looking at this outside once the rain stops. So the next one I am sampling is Benjamin Moore White Dove. Not quite as warm as Alabaster, but a little warmer. Has a little bit more, it does have a little bit of yellow in it. And it is a designer favorite color. I'm sure you guys have sampled or probably tried White Dove in your own space. Something that's a little bit cooler on the white scale. Simply White by Benjamin Moore. Oh, it's pretty. I've been following younghouselove.com for years, and they really loved using Simply White in almost the entire inside of their home. And they decided not to use it on the exterior of their home because it was too white, too bright, and too stark. So I thought that was something to think about. So the next one I want to try is a color by Benjamin Moore called Chantilly Lace, and this is going to be just slightly cooler than Simply White. Still a pretty white. A lot of people have used it for interiors. Definitely pretty. It's definitely whiter than the other ones. All right, it stopped raining for just a moment. I'm having a hard time really determining the different shades of the whites indoors. So here is Alabaster. Here is White Dove. And I am facing towards the northern exposure of my house, which is the front of my house, to gauge how the light is going to hit these colors. Then the next one is going to be the Simply White. And then the last one we sampled was Chantilly Lace. It was a tie between Alabaster and White Dove for me, but once I brought it into the sunlight, the Alabaster had a little bit of a grayish tone to it. I actually want to go with White Dove. And White Dove seemed a little bit cleaner, still creamy. I don't know about you, I'm a messy painter, so the gloves are a must. All right, let's go. Before I get started, I use a about 3/8 inch nap roller, especially on the wood because the wood's a little bit rough and you want it to hold a lot of paint. I also have my trusty little hand brush to catch any drips and to get into any of the small crevices. And then the last tip is a lot of the pickets hit the dirt on the bottom. So I'm just gonna stick this in between the dirt and the picket so that it doesn't pick up any soil. All right. Okay, this is the last corner of the front of the fence. I still have to do the inside of the fence, but at least for today, we're gonna get a good idea of what that's gonna look like. So I'm hoping that the way the sun is, you're gonna be able to see the color a little bit better. Now the sun is overhead, and I think you can see the color a little bit better. So it is, especially when the sun hits it, it's a very pretty white. Here is the finished fence, at least in the front. It took me 4 hours of non-stop painting. I still have to paint the trellis, but the fence, I hope you guys like the color. You can really see the color on that far end, which is where the sun's hitting it. And that's the color of the white. Oh, it just got really windy. 4 hours later, the front of the fence is all painted. It's a really good feeling. I'm just gonna take a break and pace myself, and I'll probably start painting the inside of the fence a little bit tomorrow and just take my time. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.